you're always walking on eggshells because you don't want to talk about certain things because you're worried how is it going to come out in school. So like even life and death, right? There was like an issue once and he spoke about guns or something at school. Yeah, so since that time, it really kind of muted my relationship with him where I felt like I was definitely walking on eggshells.
You can't do that today, but I'm sure in 3 to 5 years, you'll be able to just generate. There's no need to look for a movie you like. Tell it to make a movie. The main thing is, it's like Allah already gave us a lot of comfort, right? We shouldn't be guilty about stuff that Allah gave us. But it's like, this is the dangerous bit. You got to like be grateful and you got to use it for good. That's where I'm scared, bro. That's the bit where I'm in trouble. Because the gratitude is not the level it needs to be. And then the use of the excess, whatever, wealth, free time, health, that's not on the level. That's what I worry about, you know. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In this episode, Mohammed giving birth. I thought you got these lights so you know for the whole birthing atmosphere.
No, that wasn't. No. But
that wasn't the reason.
That. I'm not sure what the reason was, to be honest. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's been a while. God, it's been a long time.
Yes,
it's been a very long time.
What happened, bro?
Oh, bro, we were in hospital for a while, and then all got sick. I'm still kind of coming out of it, but I wasn't in hospital because I was sick. Khalid, my youngest, was sick, so I was there for like 2 weeks or so, and then I've been sick for the past few weeks. I'm coming out of it, alhamdulillah.
How
you were ill as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Just came to the UK. I don't know if you had that where you are, but for a large part of the UK, it was like really cold for about a week, maybe 4 days.
Yeah, snow and all sorts.
Like abnormally cold. So I think I came exactly at that time. Change of climate, and then it was very cold, and I just got ill. Actually, my kids got ill. Everyone got ill together. Happy family, happy days. Alhamdulillah. And what else? Yeah. So how long has it been since Khalid's like out of hospital now?
So we had the home birth. And then he was like out of hospital for about a week or so. So I don't remember that night that we recorded the last episode together, but that was the night that I took him to hospital. So he was born on the 6th. I think it was the 11th we recorded. Yeah. It was Friday the 11th, I think. And then I went into hospital thinking I'm only going to be there for, for 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was like 5 in the morning when we finally got seen. And I thought, yeah, right, sweet, we'll go home now. And they're like, no. You ain't going anywhere. But yeah, alhamdulillah, anyway, I'm not going to get into it too much, but he's fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So he's been out for a week or something, I think, right? Maybe a bit more, 10 days?
No, he's been out for longer than that.
So now you can tell us, is there a difference between 2 kids and 3 so far, Hani?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Really? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I think... did I underestimate it? A little bit, yeah. And then combined with that, sorry, maybe I'm fast forwarding a bit, but we pulled Suleiman out of school. So we're homeschooling.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah, although I must admit, and my wife is the primary homeschooler. I don't think I've done a single like proper lesson with him yet. Maybe
yeah. I just mean around the decision. So there's definitely a difference between 2 and 3, yeah? Because I was kind of thinking, okay, obviously 0 to 1 is huge difference, yeah? Then 1 to 2 is like, okay, now you got multiple. But I thought after 2, it's similar.
Yeah, primarily, I think it all depends on how old the others are.
Yeah, sure.
If we had 2 10-year-old boys or whatever, and then we had a third, it might be a bit different. But no, certainly, I mean, they're all 5 and under, so it is challenging. I did forget that little ones can be very demanding. Khalil only sleeps in a particular way when he's with me. Like he'll only sleep if he's on my chest, and like after a while of like maneuvering, and then when he does that, that's it. I can't move. I'm stuck. I can't do anything. If I get up or put him down, he wake up and he start crying again. Blah blah blah. So that's my challenge. But no, trying to organise doing the shifts with my wife. Otherwise, she'll be up 24/7 because you've got things like Ilyas, so my middle child. He'll get up at like sorry, let me get this off. He'll get up at like 4 a.m. sometimes, 3 a.m. I'll be feeding one of them. I'll be feeding Khalil, and then he runs through this door, and he's like, "I want to stay up." I don't want to sleep. I'm like, what's going on? No. But we're getting into a bit of a routine. But yeah, alhamdulillah. And obviously, going out has been, I don't think we've actually done a proper like leaving the house altogether to do something. That's been quite challenging because not only is it a big effort getting them all in the car, but it's like little things. You can imagine little things. It all piles up. At the end of the day, your family's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So why we decided to homeschool now as well is beyond me. But I think the opportunity presented itself, and we've been speaking about it a lot, and we've been speaking about it a lot on Mind Heist as well. And I think collectively, I think it was very much. It looked like, and I'm sure to the listeners, it would look like you were probably going to be homeschooling way before I ever did. I think you were pretty clued up on how it was going to work out for you and had it all planned out, right?
My kids are younger though, innit? So
yeah, true. But I think maybe I felt like at least you were a bit more certain about that.
I mean, my son's, is he being homeschooled by the fact that he's not in school? I don't know. Like,
could be. Like, is he old enough to be in school?
Well, I mean, a lot of kids his age, they put them in what they call it, nursery. Is that it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they do those kind of things.
Yeah. I guess so. I must admit, I hats off to my wife who's been pushing for it. And I think a lot of the anxiety can come for a woman, really, because it's not only is she feels like the responsibility is on her to probably do most of it, but also she's also going to have to be spending more time with them again. One of the comments that we had was like, "Oh, why would you do that to yourself? Now you're going to have the kids with you 24/7." Do you know what I mean? Instead of having that somewhat of a break while they're at school for those few hours. But no, I think, talk is cheap, and I think it's just worth doing. It's worth trying. I was very surprised at the lack of resistance from his school. I really thought it was going to be like a battle, we're going to have a few meetings. Okay, sit down. I'll prove ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. This is what we're going to do.
I think it depends on the person in charge in your area, and it depends on the area. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, at the moment they're still on holiday from Christmas holidays, so I haven't heard anything. But it was very short notice for them. We kind of so let me start a bit further back. My wife's been researching it, been looking into it. I've also had a look as well. We looked at some Tim Humble stuff. We looked at some curriculums from other people that are online, for example. My wife's obviously quite well connected online, so she had a lot of people reach out to her and stuff. There's lots of communities of Muslims that are already homeschooling, lots of individuals that my wife spoke to. Sharif also sent me quite a few resources and stuff and offered support. So there's always lots of support out there, and I think people are very Muslims are very supportive with this because they can identify the importance of it, and we've gone through that many times. And I think pretty soon we'll probably get somebody on, even if it is Sharif or someone else, to discuss it in depth. I'd like to give it justice, the topic, and I can't right now because I haven't engaged in it enough to give that.
What was the primary motivating factor?
So Suleiman's had a few issues at school in general. Socializing has been a very difficult one. The boundary between him being a Muslim and others not being Muslim has been really difficult for him to deal with. He was constantly at conflict between what they do and what he knows he doesn't want to do. We're quite light. We're quite a light touch when it comes to don't worry about Christmas. We do Eid, or we do this, but we'll never really comment about the other stuff in a negative frame. So we'll never say, "Oh, Christmas is this and this and this and this, and that's wrong," and blah, blah, blah. We'll just push it to the side and say, no, we do this. He, however, interprets that as that thing is very, very bad. I don't want anything to do with it. He would get he got a Christmas card from his teacher, and I think he ripped it up and threw it in the bin. But I'm convinced he did it in front of her because he wouldn't tell me whether he did it in front of her or not. And I was like, "Oh, dude, please." We had a parents' evening recently as well, where his teacher shared like he's very much in his own kind of world. He doesn't really like to engage with class activities as a group. He likes to do his own thing quite a lot. And then I've already seen at home when we used to do extra stuff with him, he would really shine. Like he was amazing with maths on his own. He was amazing with sort of drawing and arts and stuff like that. I already had a few resources online that he would jump on the computer here and do some things. Really, really good with that. Like I keep getting these notifications from his learning. There's something called Math Seeds that he uses, and Reading Eggs, and all these sort of online softwares that are just filled with educational sort of games and stuff. Absolutely loves it. So yeah, I could clearly see that actually that one-to-one support he's not going to get at school, and he's going to get it at home. Obviously, the elephant in the room is all the other stuff that's being taught in schools these days, and we don't need to go into all of that. It's quite obvious. The stuff that doesn't align with Islam, and wanted to protect them. And also, for me, the major thing was having that freedom to just talk to my kids about life, right? You're always walking on eggshells because you don't want to talk about certain things because you're worried, how is it going to come out in school? So like even life and death, right? Even like I found myself, and it's really bad, but we spoke before, I think. Did we mention when I said there was like an issue once and he spoke about guns or something at school? Yeah, so since that time, it really kind of muted my relationship with him, where I felt like I was definitely walking on eggshells anytime we'd have the discussion about anything. If there was like a documentary on about animals eating each other, whatever, that wasn't the whole documentary, but like if that was a particular part, I'd have to skip through it. Or if there was anything to do with violence or anything to do with anything that could be interpreted in a bad way, I found myself skipping through it and dodging it and trying to push it to the side. And it overburdened the relationship I had, and I felt like I wasn't doing him justice. And at the end of the day, you get bullied, don't you? You feel like you're getting bullied into leaving out those important parts of life and education, and leaving that to the school to do, which isn't really right.
And that's a big part of your parenting as well, isn't it? So it's like
100%.
It's like this stuff would naturally come out, but now you're thinking twice about saying it, and you're kind of like, over years of doing that, you're going to like cut out a good 20% of what you would like to share with your kids, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But now, like, the difference is night and day, Like before, I hadn't even spoke to him about Jahannam. Like, he's 5 years old. He didn't. My wife, I think, has gone into it a little bit, but I haven't at all. But now it's like, yeah, everything goes, really. Everything
You're
goes.
just like buying Christmas cards just to rip them up together as an activity.
Yeah, bro. The other day he was talking to me about like World War II or something, like soldiers in World War II, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to hear about some real soldiers?" I was talking about like Khalid ibn Walid. I was talking about the Muslims in the past. I was talking about the battles that they'd gone through and the reasons why those battles were conducted. Things like that. Like suddenly. You've just got this immense weight lifted off your shoulders where you can just educate your child properly, right? And I think, definitely been muted in that aspect before. What was? So how did we actually go about doing it? So in the UK, at least, there is no real. So number one, it's completely fine to homeschool your kids in the UK. One of the things that they may do in the future is the council might come and do checkups on them if they're concerned about how they're doing, but we haven't had anything. You have no obligation to notify the school that you're pulling them out. Like that's another thing that was surprising to me, but they advise you to do it anyway because they might facilitate for you. So you still hear me?
Yep.
Touch this cable. It's quite my camera's super blurry, isn't it? Wow. I think it might be because you're in the UK connection as the host. The connection is different. I'm going to put the blame on you because I'm Etherneted up, baby. I got the plugs. I've got everything. Anyway, that's another discussion for another day. So where was I? You don't have to notify them, but we did anyway because we had a parents' evening coming up. So we thought, oh, this might be a good opportunity. It's just before the Christmas break, so maybe we could say to them, listen, we're going to pull him out during the Christmas break and he won't be coming back. And that's exactly what we did. And to be fair, we've been speaking to him about it on and off for ages, like just seeing how he'd react. And he's like, yeah. Do you want to be homeschooled? Yeah. Do you want to have school at home? Yeah. you going to miss your friends? I don't have any friends. I'm just scared, honestly. I was like, oh, you're going to miss your teachers? No, I'm not. Anyway, so clearly he was leaning towards it.
Yeah.
Then when we told the teacher about it, she was just like, oh, I thought something like this was going to happen. He's been mentioning things like this at school quite a lot. I was like, okay, so he's kind of leaked the plan. Yeah, but then they were basically like, yeah, sure, he'll always have a place here if you ever want to change your mind, and if you need any help with anything, just send us an email and blah blah blah. And they're already down the road, so they were quite supportive in that regard. But there was definitely no aura of like, oh no, let's try something out. Maybe we can try this. Maybe we can try that. How about? It was none of that. It was literally like, oh, you want to go? Okay, see you later. Right.
Good. Yeah.
So alhamdulillah. Yeah, and as far as curriculums and stuff, I mean, at the moment we're using one that's from America. That is, I think it's like a Christian kind of curriculum. But it's very light. Obviously, he's a 5-year-old, so there's nothing in there. And we've gone through the whole of it. There's no Trinity stuff. It's just pure maths, English, some science elements and stuff. And then we're quite creative with any science stuff that we want to do. We've got one at the moment about the animal kingdom. We've got some about. I bought a globe today, actually. Globe of the Earth. We've got planets, got solar system, all this sort of stuff. You can be quite light with that because it's quite young. In terms of the future, GCSEs and all that stuff, I mean, it's still quite far off. Whilst my wife is at home and whilst we're in the situation we're in now, we're going to carry on and just take it one step at a time. I do agree that we are coming from a place of privilege because, I mean, yeah, obviously the situation that I'm in at the moment enables us to do so. But also, I think one of the biggest challenges anyone will go through is the opinion of their family. Right. So I think, try and convince your mum and dad and your aunties and uncles that you're going to homeschool your kids, especially from a culture that is very, very dominant when it comes to school.
Education
right?
Equals, financial success or whatever. Not even financial success, just survival.
There's nothing but education. That's, and the education system, qraya. And, I'm very privileged. Alhamdulillah. My mum used to push us. My mum's quite tech savvy. She's quite big on the social medias and stuff. So she was always supportive of that kind of stuff. My dad, may Allah have mercy on his soul. If he was still alive, bro, he would probably slaughter me. Yeah, bro. He's the biggest champion of traditional schools and stuff, university, everything. Get the masters, get the PhD, get everything. So I would probably think that he would be very anti this, because what he would say is if I gave him all the social kind of issues about schooling here, he would probably say, well, just go to Tunisia then. You've got a passport, you've got citizenship, move over there if you care too much. And then I wouldn't be able to talk back to that. I'd be like, yeah, you got a point. But no, so I haven't got those barriers. As far as extended family beyond that, I don't think many people even know. My wife's side of the family seem to be supportive. And other than that, my aunties and uncles and stuff, I don't even think they know yet. I don't really announce stuff. So they probably, if they see this, they might see this. So, yeah, it is what it is. And I don't mind. And that's it. I haven't got that kind of backlash. For other people, I can imagine it being really difficult. I can imagine it really tough to sort of convince, because then you have that pressure, oh no, now everybody's going to judge me, and if he can't do his times tables or something, they're going to think I'm a terrible parent. And so yeah, I am very privileged, alhamdulillah.
I'm more privileged, bro.
You think so?
Well, I think I'm very privileged in terms of, it's such a weird word to use. Anyway, I'm privileged in terms of I grew up in a culture where, so within just my nuclear family, my parents and siblings, it's we're mixed anyway, mixed culture, mixed background. There's no norms, generation long norms or anything like that. And then also on top of that, growing up in the UAE, again, there's no one culture in UAE, there's a mixture. So I realize everything I do in life comes from that thing of there is no norm. You can make your own norm up, you know what I mean? So so that's why I suppose, yeah, my family's pretty open-minded. I've been told, like, by family in Algeria, like, literally my cousin's husband, I remember specifically, he was like going on about me one evening, like, you've got to do PhDs, trying to tell me what to do in my life. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only kind of thing I've got from those more distant relatives who I don't see that often. Yeah, some of my uncles try and tell me what to do. I'll just agree with them, to be honest, in the moment, and then like see you in a couple of years when I've made my decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But I realize, that's a really real benefit, Yanni, for myself. That's probably why I've been able to do so many things, Yanni, like do business and I don't know, just like think a bit differently because, I come from a mixture. Like, when you have a buffet, you can't be boxed into we're a Chinese restaurant, Italian. No, it's like we're a buffet with everything.
You got it all. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm not trying to shame other people for not doing it. I'm not, no way, because I can imagine how hard it is. But things lined up a bit in learn, and it is the way it is. I think my wife especially has been like incredible, really putting all of this together. I've done like 1%, if anything. Yeah, I've purchased the things that are required. Like she'll send me something, but like, yeah, it's in the mail. But no, and that's another thing. So like, one of the things is like the flexibility of it. So because I've been doing like some of the night feeds and whatever, maybe I'll sleep at like 3-4 in the morning. I'll wake up, I'll pray Fajr and then go back to bed and wake up again. And then I'll wake up maybe 10, 11, sometimes 12, silly o'clock lately, because we've had a few days off because of the Christmas holidays and stuff. She'll when I get up at 10, she's like, yeah, I've just finished all the homeschooling for today. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, this, like, lessons don't take as long as you'd think they would.
Yeah.
You could do an entire maths lesson, it takes 20 minutes. An entire English lesson takes another 20 minutes. Add something else here and there,
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's what I heard, man, from multiple people. It's literally a couple hours a day. Even for like an 8-9-year-old, like, a couple hours. Obviously, you can stack things, right? You could do English maths in a couple hours. Then, okay, you can add another hour of Quran or whatever. But
yeah.
But that's like the minimum, the basics, Yanni, foundation. If you say it's English and maths, it's like 1-2 hours. That's what I heard from many.
Yeah, 100%. And her.
But how does she do that when? Because Ilyas is at home as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
how does he stay occupied while she's teaching?
So what I've noticed she's doing is there isn't. So I thought it was going to be quite structured. She was going to have it quite structured out. What she seems to be doing is literally the whole day seems to be like, if they're not doing a structured lesson, for those two, then even everything else they're doing is learning as well. Yeah. So, like with Ilyas, like you could capitalize on the technology. So like I've got a few. So the apps I've got that I'm paying for at the moment, like the maths ones, the English one, reading one. There's some other one, like there's one called Khan Academy, which someone put me on, which is quite good, which is 100% free. Have a look at that. That's got all ages on there. They've got apps. They've got tech that you can use as well. So for example, Ilyas might be they might be all on the table. She sets Suleiman up on one activity, and then she'll set Ilyas up on another activity. Or Ilyas might have the iPad. He's doing something, educational on there as well. One of those lessons on there as well. Or he's in his room playing with toys or whatever. Like he at the moment, he can just get on with whatever he's getting on with. But then I've noticed even throughout the day, it's like, all right, let's do something more productive than just, I don't know, watching whatever on TV or something like that. And then she'll fit in the Quran memorization in there. She'll fit in the seerah in there. But it's not like structured timetable.
Yeah.
And I think what that does is it also it allows her to combine all the activities they get up to in a day. There's learning in all of them as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember her saying to me that somebody told her not to beat herself up with things that don't immediately look like learning, because they all are at that age. It could be anything. It could be, oh, you're helping me do the cooking. Like I'm cooking something. Come over here and help me. Well, then you're learning life skills there. Technically, you could say that's food tech. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like there's so many things that, you might think, oh, I'm not actually doing this, or I'm not doing that. But even, he's got it all. Everything, every daily thing that they get involved in, you can judge it. You can say, actually, is he learning anything here? Is there any way we can incorporate this learning here? And I think we're quite blessed that he enjoys it. I think that's the thing. He enjoys learning. And I think it'd be difficult if he didn't. But he does, and he's very inquisitive. And I've noticed already changes in his behavior, changes in his taste for things. Like he's got this fascination now, because we're introducing more about the world, introducing more about, whether it's wildlife, whether it's sciences. He wants to watch stuff like that now. So he wants to put on like he was asking me what a moose was earlier. And then he wanted to watch something about, like, what's a plural for moose? Meese?
Mooses, maybe. Yeah.
Mooses. So we were watching stuff like that. Just capitalize on what you've got. And I think at that age, you've got it all. You've got it all. And I think, like I said, you're going to have, for many people, they're going to have those anxieties. And I think you could try it. I mean,
a year will not ruin someone's life, innit?
You're not going to miss anything. He's not going to miss anything at all, because what she is doing, because she's taken him out at this age, not like at the beginning or the end of the year, like December. So he's still got the whole rest of the year to go. She's trying to double up all the lessons. So a lesson might say like 20 minutes, but she'll do 2 lessons or 3 lessons a day, because she wants to neatly catch up, like go over everything he's gone over already, and then carry on with the rest of the year as if he was still at school, so that by next year it's kind of like a fresh start. He's not lagging behind or anything. But no, I think it's, like I said, honestly, it's all down to her. To be honest, I'd prefer if she was here giving the talk, because she'd have a lot more to say. But I think as we go along, inshallah, because now I'm a bit more out of my illness, I'll have a bit more first-hand experience, and I can give you a bit more, I think
that a big thing people do with kids is they assume limits. They put limits on them, right? Yeah. So it's like, for example, you mentioned cooking. You might say, oh, he can't use a knife at that age. But they can, bro. Like, even if they cut themselves, like, how are they going to learn from that? So,
yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of parents, they just have this automatic thing. Oh, no, he's X age, and therefore he can't handle a knife. But it's kind of up to you. Like, an X-year-old can handle a knife if you teach them, and if they, might do a bit of trial and error. And like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of lack of development comes from purely that idea of, oh, they can't do that because they're that age. It's like limiting them, man.
Yeah, and I think school has a lot of those arbitrary limitations because they box people up into year groups. And yeah, you could agree that we're kind of still doing that because the curriculum we have is set for a certain age, and that means that whoever designed that curriculum has boxed them. But no, I think you've just got to kind of let the child lead, like their curiosity lead you to where they want to be.
That's true as well. Yeah, you can push them hard on those things that they're interested in, and they'll go along. And even bro, like Ilyas might actually catch up to Suleiman, and they'll be like on similar levels, kind of thing. Eventually.
Yeah. And we can see now, like, their strengths. Like, for example, I know Suleiman's his strength right now is maths. Like, he just loves it, and I can't understand it. I can't. Not that I can't understand maths, but I can't understand where his love for it comes from. Because because I despised it, and I'm trying to push him more to get his reading, because there's a lot that he wants to do, and he doesn't realize that reading is what stops him.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be, even on the weekend where he might play a video game for like an hour or two. Right. But there's a lot of roadblocks he faces that he doesn't realize he's facing because he can't read. He can't read, fluently. So I try and encourage him, like, listen, you're not going to find the puzzle or whatever if you can't read, and then he might see me doing something, but how did you do that? I say, well, because I can read. Like, trying to encourage him that actually this is going to unlock a world for him. Yeah. Lots of stuff like that, which has encouraged him more. And you'd be amazed, honestly, the resources that are out there. I could do a whole review video of some of the stuff that we've got up. But the resources that are out there are great. There's so much out there now that you've got nothing to worry about. And I'm not saying all of it is online. The online stuff's great. Of course it is. But also the physical stuff, the books, the worksheets, it's just so much. And yeah, it's daunting because you think, how do I live my life and then be a teacher at the same time? And actually, when you think about it, it's literally just small, tiny chunks, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Think about it. If you were, you could do it. You do the weekends. You've got after work, before work. There's all sorts you can do. The main big challenge is actually having someone at home to do it. That's going to be the thing.
Yeah,
if you're
the main barrier.
But whilst the opportunity presents itself, then take it. And if you haven't got the opportunity, then think of the next best thing. Ultimately, I think it's one of those things that it's the same with hijrah. It's the same homeschooling and hijrah and all these things that we've been speaking about in Mind Heist. It's all, to me, things that you need to aim for and do something about, because at least on Yawm al-Qiyamah you can say, I tried this and I tried that, instead of saying, oh no, it's too difficult. What if I get questioned Yawm al-Qiyamah as a shepherd of this flock? What if I get questioned about, I knew that hijrah was something that I really needed. Like I came to that conclusion, or I knew that homeschooling. What did I do to get there? No, I just said it was too difficult. I didn't bother doing anything, And I think that's it. That's what you got to do. So try things and don't worry too much if you can. Yeah, it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest convincing argument, is it? But
there's very few things in life that aren't reversible.
Yeah,
there's very few things. So putting your kid in school or taking them out for a year. That is reversible. It's not going to change their whole life, etc. Yani. So, yeah. What do you think about, with this whole chat GPT thing, blowing up?
Hard right that.
No, it's
hard
linked.
Change the subject. Oh, go on.
because someone told me the other day, he shared this, he shared chat GPT with someone. They're in uni. They had an assignment. They used it for their assignment. I don't know to what level. They said instead of it taking 3-4 hours, it took them 15 minutes to do the assignment. And I thought, yeah, but it probably was didn't sound good or whatever. That instead they got full marks and their professor was impressed, right?
Yeah.
So I've been watching a few videos about it. I've been trying it out, this and that. And I just feel like school and uni, it's totally mind-boggling, man. I can't imagine, so much of school and uni is about doing research and then presenting that research. A lot of assignments is just that, okay?
Yeah.
Now, along the way, I suppose, in theory, you're supposed to develop thinking skills, analysis skills, blah, 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 picking out the main points from a text or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think, a lot of that doesn't happen. So it's what the hell, bro? I just feel like the whole world changed in 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, it is groundbreaking stuff. For those that aren't familiar with it, what was it? Chat GPT?
Generative, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so prior, if you've been on Mind Heist for a while, you might have seen us doing the DALL-E AI generated imagery.
Yeah.
So essentially, we put in a prompt into this AI, and it would generate an image based on our prompt. Now, I think it's the same developers.
It's from the same language model, I believe. Yes, called GPT. It's by the company called OpenAI.
Yeah, it's the same developers then as the others. They've developed essentially a text-based,
interface.
AI
you can chat with the
interface.
AI. Yeah.
And you can use it in multiple ways. You can use it as a search engine. Tell me blah 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 the density of the earth and blah 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 and such, and it'll probably chuck out a big paragraph. Explain to me, the tenets of faith in Islam or something, and it'll give you a whole paragraph. It cuts out a lot of the middriddleman, but it's generating that text through sourcing all over the internet, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, write me a short paragraph on the, the conclusions of the, I don't know.
Yeah. Or what are the top sources for learning about, I don't know, architecture in Victorian Britain?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you 5 books. Okay, now you pick one of those books and then you're like, what are the main ideas from this book? And it'll just tell you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And this AI, by the way, the chat GPT, so because I looked into it, so I'll explain a bit maybe for people that don't know. So there's GPT-3, which is the AI model that is like the most like the one that it was like available before ChatGPT. Okay, it's called GPT-3, and it's trained with way more data than ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT was being made available publicly, they actually limited the information it can draw upon, and they trained it specifically for interaction with people in a chat format, right?
Yeah.
But GPT-3 itself is way bigger. It's like 100 times bigger than ChatGPT, right? So you think of the timeline, it's like GPT-3, then ChatGPT, and then GPT-4 is coming out. Now, when they link this GPT-4 with the chat interface, that will be 100 times, not 100, 1,000 times better, if you like, than what we're seeing now. Yeah. The other thing is that before this, AI was mostly being used for analysis of data, right? So you give it loads of data and it can tell you, I don't know, this person is cheating, or this is a car, right? You give it loads of images and it learns what a car looks like, and it's just telling you this is a car. The breakthrough with this is that it's generative. So it creates things. It creates. So whether it's the images like with DALL-E or the text, it's creating it from scratch or from what it knows. And now what they're saying is, this is kind of the future of, you could say, it's the future of creation, if you like, because why would I go to Google and search for existing information when I can ask someone, like ask the AI to generate the information
in a particular way? Yeah.
Or imagine this. I love, what's one of these like shows people love? Like, what's the one these days? Narcos, or I don't know.
Oh, those, I don't know what's up at the moment. Yeah,
whatever.
Let's go with Narcos.
Narcos, yeah. So let's say I love Narcos, but I also love like Prison Break. I don't know, right? I can tell, and you can teach an AI what makes a really good episode, and then you can feed it with your genre that you like, the stuff. So you could tell it to generate an episode for you.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't do that today, but I'm sure in 3 to 5 years, you'll be able to just generate. There's no need to look for a movie you like. Tell it to make a movie that you like.
Even anything creative like poetry, love letters.
Yeah.
Dude, you could literally like, okay, here's, you know what, let's share it because I've got it up at the moment.
We could generate a podcast episode.
You could generate a podcast episode. You could generate, like we said, it changes the game. Anything that you want text-based is good. I mean, you can generate tweets, you know. You can generate.
What are you going to generate for us?
Is it showing at the moment?
It is, yes.
So just to show like so I did sociology at school. So I was thinking, okay, sociology, let's get a random question. So there's one here, which I've grabbed. But it's like, discuss how various social factors may impact romantic interest. Use applied sociology to explain your answer. So that is that bit there is key, because that's the kind of stuff you're going to get in school, right?
Yeah.
This would take me all day to write something first draft, and I'm not saying it's going to write you the whole thing,
but you could probably tell it like, make sure it's 700 words or more, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So like straight away, look at the way it's structured, this essay. So it's already started by
defining terms and stuff.
Defining terms. So in sociology, the term social factors are to various social, cultural, economic, and political influences. And look, I'm not going to read the whole thing out. And if anyone wants to pause this video, then there you go. But it's still writing everything, right?
Yeah.
This is
on like paragraph 5. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you ever? I'm sure you obviously have written loads of essays. I have as well at school. How long does it take you to start? Like, it used to take me forever.
Yeah.
I used to stare at the screen for ages thinking, how am I going to start? Once I've started, I'm pretty good. But like getting started was just insane.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, you know, obviously there's going to be people that use all of this for their essays.
Yeah.
Especially if you've already kind of bookmarked how you're going to structure your essay. So imagine you structure it in a way like, okay, this paragraph, I want to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. Then boom, you just feed that into the AI and you're good to go. Yeah. Oh, if I had this at school, bro, this would have...
But that's what I'm saying. It kind of like... It kind of breaks a lot of things. Like, I feel like, of course, in uni, you have stuff like seminars where you have to discuss and have to show your own understanding from discussions. But it does break a lot of it. But also, this is the thing. I actually was thinking about this, and I was thinking, you know what, this is going to disrupt. This disrupts those medium level jobs
Yeah.
more than it disrupts the unskilled work, right?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this, yeah. Like, imagine I've got a content person. They're a copywriter, you know, they're really good at thinking of content ideas and then writing copy for it, maybe writing blog posts, writing titles for videos, etc. That person now, I don't need them so much because I just take an unskilled person and add AI, give them the AI, and they can do it. So the unskilled person, jobs wise, they will benefit from this, but the skilled person will lose out, I believe, right? And I can see, and then anyone doing like manual labor, like a plumber, they're fine with this. Like, this won't affect them at all, Yanni, so far, yeah? Because this is way, like, improving the AI, general AI, is much more on track, I feel, than robotics. Like, robot doing your plumbing kind of thing, like that feels like it's at least 10 years away. Whereas this replacing an accountant or lawyer seems like 3 years away, you know?
Yeah.
Already, you know, stuff like radiologists, like detecting certain diseases in lungs from x-rays. Already there's AI that better than humans at that, right? So it's actually, like, we always think like AI is going to take the jobs of the skilled people, but no, the unskilled people. The unskilled people will benefit, at least in the short, medium term, from this. It's those people in those medium jobs where the job is kind of like not that creative, and you need a degree for it. That's where I feel like those kind of jobs are in danger. Those are actually the ones that are in danger.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that there isn't other stuff that's endangering the jobs of the low-skilled workers, because, I mean, even, what was it?
Depending
McDonald's
on the job,
up. I remember seeing an article and a video. McDonald's opened up their first completely fully automated McDonald's in America.
Sure.
Which was quite, and I know, yes, McDonald's is cliche for low skilled or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it's difficult, actually, because seeing them working in there just looks like stress. So, but to imagine they've eliminated that. I mean, this is a tale old as time, really. You know, robots at all levels. You know, those that need maintenance, those that need instruction, but also the AI that's kind of working almost automatically on its own, eliminating skilled or unskilled or low-skilled humans from the market. This is a tale old as time. I think really everybody's job is in danger. It just depends when it will reach you.
Potentially,
you said, yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm into a lot of sci-fi stuff. I do that future kind of vision. Let's see what's going on in the world. You know, I've seen all sorts of robot this and robot that in movies. And, you know, think of, like, you know, Boston Dynamics and the robots that they're designing and the way they move. If you were a business person, you could get a robot that needs one maintenance guy, or get like 50 robots that need a few maintenance people, or get 50 human beings that need, you know, social security and pensions and this and that and days off sick and blah, 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 blah. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? And actually, considering the legislations and the laws worldwide right now, that robot is your property. You know, the AI belongs to you. So it's not like this is a sentient, separate human being that has rights, human rights, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. It's a no-brainer, dude. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. Think of anything like podcasts, bro. Like we could literally, you know, they have this combination where they draw from different AIs to completely generate video now as well. So you can get
Facebook has that, I think.
Yeah, so you can get basically deep fake a video of somebody onto computer generated. You know, even CGI now is getting so good. I haven't seen the new Avatar film, but I heard like the CGI is incredible, and obviously there's little shots in there that people are like completely flabbergasted. Is it real? Is it not? Like, it's getting to that level. Get your CGI, get your deep fake of any sort of person, get deep fake of me and you, get an entire podcast script on GPT, whatever. We have a topic in mind, feed it in, get all of these things together and output. I know it's all separate at the moment, but we're definitely, like, we can see it now. Yes. We can see the different points of this happening. And then you've got an entire thing. What is it that I watched? MKBHD, whatever. I forget his name.
MKBHD.
Marcus Brownlee. He did a video on this chat.
Okay, yeah.
Chat AI thing. And like I think it was like the first 5 minutes of the video. it sounded like a normal video of his.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember thinking, I bet you he's made this video using this AI. And then he says it, he goes,
For the script.
everything you've just heard was made by that. And you wouldn't have known. So the script was written there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's other stuff that are completely like AI generated now. You just wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
There is backlash. So I don't know if you've seen backlash, obviously, especially on the art side of things. Artists are throwing a big, backlash against it and trying to, because it's sourcing a lot of its stuff from original art.
Of course, yeah.
And same with what we just did now, the sociology question. It's probably sourcing that from a lot of articles, books, whatever, PDFs that people have actually put work and time in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of somewhat plagiarism, but you can't really prove it. So what they're pushing for, one of the things they are pushing for, these bands of protesters in whatever right they have, is to have a breadcrumb trail for everything that was used in whatever it puts out. So they want to kind of almost like NFTs in a way, where they kind of link you back to who originally owns this. Yeah, this chain. So imagine like what we just brought up, and like at the bottom it has like a bibliography. I pulled from this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and I put it together, and this is where you've got it. Which would kind of help anyway for an essay writer, because you remember at uni you had to put a bibliography anyway. So yeah, there is that. Whether it will happen or not, I doubt it.
There's something even dirtier that was done. So Microsoft bought GitHub. Mm-hmm. GitHub is a depository where you like store your code, like where developers store their code or something. So Microsoft bought them. They took all the code saved on there, they fed it into an AI to train it. And now using that, they created a product that they sell to developers for a monthly subscription, which is, I think they call it Autopilot. So it basically gives shortcuts to developers when they're writing code using AI. And then they found out that this was basically made by their code, right? So they took their code and they trained the AI with their code to make this product that they're now selling back to them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible.
And also, as you've probably seen with ChatGPT can write code as well.
Right.
So, and another factor is that Microsoft is a heavy investor in OpenAI.
Right.
They actually invested, I believe, $1 billion, which is a really large amount of money, Ali. They invested it. And, Microsoft, one of their products is data centers, like compute, basically. So you know how you have the big players, AWS, Amazon's web services. You've got Azure, which is Microsoft's. You've got Google also. So when you make a software, an app, whatever, even Netflix, you have to store this stuff somewhere, and you have to get these computers that are doing the work, like processing in the background. They use data centers for that. So one of the big players is Microsoft in that industry. So they're an investor in OpenAI, and they're investing in chips in their data centers, which are optimized for AI kind of processing. And they're allowing OpenAI to use a lot of the capacity that they're building for AI. And so they're like big partners in this, and Microsoft's like investing billions in it. I just want to read a few things that my friend sent me about this. So Sam Altman, he's the co-founder of OpenAI. He told this guy, I don't know who tweeted this, he told this guy, he said that two things matter to him, to this Sam Altman: AGI and fusion energy, and nuclear fusion. Right. He said fusion accelerates AGI because AGI is, what's it called? Artificial general intelligence, right? General being it's not just for specific use, it just can do general things, yeah? Right. So he's saying fusion accelerates AGI because AGI is just exaflops spent on training. Exaflops being like compute energy. Power, yeah. So what he's saying is GPT, or ChatGPT, which is basically GPT 3.5, is civilization altering. That's what he believes, this Sam Altman guy. He said GPT-4 is 10 times better than GPT 3.5, and it will be launched in the middle of next year. Google has declared code red.
Yeah, I saw that,
Yeah, because this like puts their whole existence into question. And Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Microsoft, he's like project managing AI search himself. Microsoft is all in. They're building 10 times bigger data centers dedicated to OpenAI every year. and Bing Search is owned by Microsoft. Bing is getting GPT integration next year. They're spending billions of dollars now for OpenAI, right? And the other big like insight is basically they're saying that the only barrier to this becoming what you imagine in the movies and all that, the only barrier is energy, right?
Yeah,
and that's why it's saying fusion, the whole element of fusion. If they have very cheap energy, all they need to do is build a load of data centers, train it. It's just training, right? That's what he's claiming anyway. The only barrier is time to train it, time and energy to train the AI. And obviously, the more energy you have, the quicker the training happens. So it's not even time as the restraint. It's more just energy. So there's that. And then he said, the key insight is a lot of these configurations work equally fine. If you throw the same GPU exaflops at the model, so exaflops, yani the computing power, they perform more or less the same. Basically, OpenAI is trained with 10 exaflops, and the human brain is 1,000 exaflops, I guess, of training or learning or whatever. So basically, it's going to reach human brain level likely in the next 5 years. So that's what I'm saying, bro. It does seem to be civilization altering, but I can't fully picture it yet. You know what I mean? But when we like talking about school and stuff like that, I'm just saying it seems like I don't even know anymore. Except I know that this is not even just kids, bro. This includes me and you, because we're not even that old as well. And for us to like continue to make a living, I feel like these skills of like, I don't know, whatever skills I have, copywriting, whatever skills, that's not going to be enough anymore. It's like, I need to know, I think the main skill I need is the ability to kind of problem solve, learn new skills, like learn meta skills, and just the ability and the willingness to actually learn new things, which might have not been necessary before. It's like, I've got to be open to like, tomorrow, it's like, imagine you have to like learn German, like tell us just within the next few months, you've got to learn it. Like, it's like that kind of level of openness you have to learning. Of course, like the ability to problem solve and have creative solutions to things. I think that's still also like an important skill. But that's what I'm saying. I don't even know how to prepare my kids for this other than learn problem solving, learn analytical skills, critical thinking skills, blah, blah, blah. Other than that, I'm like, look, I don't know, bro. Just become an AI.
Yeah, well, it's tech, isn't it? It's tech, coding, the development of this sort of stuff.
Even coding, bro, is gone. It's out the window.
I know coding is gone.
Yeah.
Well, not gone, but it's still going to be very much alive for developing this sort of stuff. But all of this stuff runs on infrastructure, and it runs on,
that's true.
There's people behind all this stuff developing this stuff. What's it called? Research and development of these kind of things.
Yes.
In all tech. And, tech jobs didn't necessarily exist 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And now this is a further push into that kind of market where lots of stuff's going to fall by the wayside. I remember my dad seeing it coming a while ago about computers and stuff, and he was very big on me trying to learn computing. And, I never really pursued it towards the end, but I definitely did like, IT in GCSE and stuff like that because my dad was pushing that kind of thing. He's not wrong. And for the foreseeable future, definitely not wrong with all of this kind of coming out.
Bro, if you did computer science, you'd be raking it in at this point.
But nothing's stopping people now. Like, there's people I know that are just breaking off into tech, coding, whatever. I've got family members that are now coding on the side, trying to make that their primary sort of. I know, coding is coding, like you said. I didn't realize, I completely forgot that the AI could actually start doing that as well. But it'd be interesting. I mean, there's other implications of this. I mean, I've got it up on my screen if you want to switch back. Just from a Muslimic perspective.
Muslimic? Okay, what's this?
Explain the permissibility of alcohol consumption in Islam. This will start happening, bro. People start putting fatwas in, try and get fatwas out. In Islam, alcohol, this is what the AI is saying. Okay. In Islam, alcohol consumption is generally considered to be forbidden or haram. This is based on several verses in the Quran that prohibit the consumption of intoxicants.
What did you ask it?
I asked, explain the permissibility of alcohol consumption.
Oh, explain it. Okay. Yeah.
oh, you have believed indeed intoxicants, gambling, sacrificing on stone altars to other than Allah. And like, I'm scared reading this. I don't want to read it. Additionally, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't say sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I'm saying that.
This is a kafir AI.
It's reported to have said, every intoxicant is forbidden. Whoever drinks wine in this world and dies while still drinking it, he will not drink it in hereafter. So there's no source. There's no, But anyway, despite these clear prohibitions, some Muslims do choose to consume alcohol in moderation, arguing that it is not inherently haram, but rather the excess consumption of it that is forbidden. They may also point to the fact that alcohol was not strictly prohibited in the early days of Islam, and that it is only later that the prohibition was enforced more strictly. However, the majority of Muslims believe that any consumption of alcohol is forbidden, and that it is best to abstain from it entirely in order to avoid any potential negative consequences. So that section here about some Muslims choose to consume, in my perspective, in my head, it's such a tiny minority that they wouldn't even need to mention it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But now that's opened up a whole, for anyone who's using this, it's opened up a whole kind of concept in their head, right?
Yeah. So like the data set used matters a lot, Yanni.
Yeah, 100%. But the problem is then what happens, bro, is, okay, let's say this starts growing and growing and growing. AI will then start using data from other AI generated material to inform its own data. So right now, all the data, let's say 99% of the data that all these AIs are using is original user-created stuff.
Yeah.
But the more it gets used, the more it takes over, the less original data exists. Yes. And then the more that's getting drawn from is more, it's like Chinese whispers. So like, let's say that someone else asks that question about alcohol consumption, and another AI picks up what I've just written because it exists now in the ether. Yeah. Then actually that becomes another fact. And then but look, I've put it into this AI and this AI, and they're all saying it, so it must be true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got AI flavors and AI kind of, when it comes to the chat thing, like which AI did you use? I used the Google one. Oh yeah, I used the Microsoft one. It came up with this. Do you know what I mean?
I used the Islam QA one.
It's scary, man. It is scary.
Actually, I asked it, because I just released a video yesterday about Maher, right? And I asked, I put something into ChatGPT about Maher, and it told me something completely wrong, It said Maher is not like obligatory. And it said Muslim men shouldn't feel pressured into paying the Maher. I don't know where it got that from.
It's an opinion piece. It's drawn it from an opinion piece. I'd love to know where. It's hard to say, isn't it? But I would like to see where it draws this information from. I mean, I could realistically just copy like a small sentence of here. Let's just copy. Despite these clear prohibitions, some Muslims do choose to consume alcohol. I'm gonna take that and just pop it into thingy and see if there's a bar like that. No, Google nothing. I put it in exactly as it was written, and Google has come out.
Well, it should be original. It should be original text, but it's just inspired from something that you won't be able to find from. So
that's what's fascinating, is that it's taking information, it's interpreting information, and then it's giving you its interpretation, as opposed to a search engine, which is going to say, "Oh, here's someone has asked this before, and this is what was said. Let's copy that and give it straight to you how it was."
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it's more centralized than Google in terms of. There's one answer. There's only one answer that we're the AI is giving you one answer, whereas Google's like, you're very aware that there's all these multiple sources and you can look at different opinions or different facts, if you like. But this is just 100%. Like, this is the one answer. But when it comes to like fatwa, like I can see how you could have AI generated fatwa. You just have to train it with the correct data set. I can see how that could be done, I think.
Pushback though, the pushback will be immense.
But there's always pushback until it's irresistible, I guess. I'm not saying it's a good idea, right? I'm just saying, is it possible? I think it's possible.
I think it was just a experiment, I suppose. But in terms of everything else, secular knowledge, whatever, I've used it. I remember using it for work. I had to write some sort of presentation for work. And I was like, I wonder how I could start. And I remember just putting in the question, and I was like, oh, that'll do. That'll do. So straight away,
That's a good point, bro. Because actually, over a year ago, I became aware of this tool called Jasper.ai. And it's a copywriter, right? And it's based on GPT-3. So they had access to GPT-3 through the API. and they create a whole software which does copywriting for you, right? It's like for marketers and stuff. So I was aware of that. I used it. It's really good. And I never I didn't think too much about its ability. Like I knew it was sick, but it's like when the thing came out, ChatGPT came out like just recently. I don't know. It's like it blew my mind because I forgot about it or something. But anyway, what I realized is like you just said. You said that will do, and that's why I think. That's why I think this does, like even AI copywriting, it does the job. It's not going to be in the top 10% of copywriting, but it will do the job. And this is the thing. Most people want the job just done. They don't want a top 10% copywriter or top 10%, presentation. They just want it done. And so 100%. For anyone who's looking for the job just done, it will cover that base, Yanni. But when people want to be like, this has to be amazing, that's when probably humans have to come in.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the moment it's free, easily accessible. Takes a couple of seconds to load up everything. You're good to go. Like, write me a description of a whatever podcast episode.
Actually, you know what I'll do, bro? For this episode, I'm going to get the transcript, right? Because the transcript is AI generated right from the software you use.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in ChatGPT. I'm going to write a description for this, and it does it, and it covers all the points that we've covered.
Probably, yeah.
I've done it for my YouTube video. I put it out yesterday. Actually, I used it for that. Yeah.
Remember when I was brainstorming some album art for our podcast, and I remember just putting it in there as well, and it definitely set up the I'll use that. You could put YouTube thumbnails as well, like we did that before, and that would work. Obviously it's a long way off creating that stuff to a finished product, but it's definitely a starting point.
But the thing to remember is ChatGPT doesn't have access to half the information that like GPT-4 has. Yeah,
really. Yeah.
So it's a closed environment. It's like a little sandbox that they've made available. But in the future iterations, you're going to find it's actually way better. Like it's not like they're not there yet. They are there, but they haven't allowed it full access to everyone yet.
And it's still also. It's still, what's the best way to put this? It's still very much embedded in the liberal West, so it's very censored in particular areas at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
It cares about stereotypes and stuff. It gives you warnings about stereotypes.
Yes.
Although it may sometimes it might project a stereotype. It will warn you about these kind of things. It won't let you search for certain things as well. Like I remember someone searching, I came across it on Twitter. Someone wrote, it wasn't a Muslim that wrote this, it was someone else that wrote, write me a good jokes about Christianity. And it refused to answer it because it was like, oh no, we don't want to offend and blah, 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 blah. So it's still embedded in that, let alone when the next country catches up, or China catches up or whatever.
Yeah.
Then all bets
so
are
there's
off.
A lot of the inputs into it it's not like it's unbiased, it's definitely for example just the fact that it's trained off English language data that will have an impact, right? But you know what's mad, just to let everyone know where the level this is at or it will be at. The founder Sam Altman, they asked him, how are you going to monetize this business? He said, to be honest, I don't know. I'm going to develop it. And then one day I'm going to ask it how to monetize. I'm going to do what it tells me because it's going to be that sick.
The simplest way is the credit system that they've got for DALL-E.
The API
really.
access, sorry,
DALL-E's got obviously submission based, so you purchase tokens and then use the tokens to...
Yes, and they've got the same thing for the text API as well. That's what they're doing right now,
Yeah, 100%.
I think like the thing for me that where my mind goes is there a business I could build on top of this, right? I can't think of anything so far. I don't think it's I don't think that's the way to think of business. I think that you think of what's a problem and then, okay, the solution could include GPT, right? But starting from the tool or the technology and then going to the problem, I find that harder jump. So I haven't thought of anything yet.
I think a lot of problems that are created by this are tech-based problems anyway. Like problems of plagiarism, problems of, you need to create tech that then is able to identify AI.
Sure.
But how does AI-generated responses have any hallmarks? It's hard to say, because one is so much different than the other. I don't know if there's any sort of signatures that are left behind when these things are produced. But Lord knows, man, it's a brave new frontier. I think it's far from being, anything that's going to be adopted by the masses. I think you still got at least 10 years. But it depends how it's incorporated. Right now, it's like a website, and you go to it and you put stuff in. But imagine if it literally just the same kind of software snuck its way into Google. So the Google search tab that everybody uses is now that.
Yeah, I don't think that we will not interact with this. For example, like OpenAI's products, we won't interact with it through their own portal thing, their own interface.
Yeah.
It's going to be via other things. But I really don't think, it depends on the area, but it's not far away. Like I said, copywriting, it's just a matter of time before like people, it's just a matter of people getting used to it, and just through time, when as time goes on, it permeates, more people become aware of it. But I believe, this is like a bold statement, but like, I just feel like within 3 years, the majority of copywriting will be done, at least in part, by AI.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding of copywriting, which could be wrong, but my understanding of it as it stands is already pretty much gone with this. Because if you've got the patience to input what you want and the details of what you want. For example, let's say you've got a product. Okay, let's say Pure XI. I've got this jumper. I have a sweater that is made of this, 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 and this, and this. Right? It's this color. It's this. Write me an engaging description for this product. Boom. Like, I'm sure if I fed that in.
Yeah. So the tech is fully there.
Yeah,
it just
100%.
takes time for people to get comfortable with it, get used to it, get to know it, become aware of it. That's what I'm saying. Because ChatGPT is not trained specifically to be good at marketing, but Jasper is, or there's another one, Copy.ai is. These are specifically been trained on data to make them better. So those products, it's done with those, but just people don't know enough about it. Someone like me, because I've been copywriting for a while, it might just be a barrier in my head. Like, I can't be bothered to learn that. I'm just going to write my own thing. But eventually that will go away, and I'll just be like,
100%. There's going to be things that, there's going to be things that I could have gone for a copywriter to, but I didn't.
You won't bother anymore. And it's the same with, maybe not Photoshop, but like Canva. So something that I would have got a designer to do before, now I can do myself just because of the tool called Canva, right? Because it has good templates and I can make something that looks decent. Like our thumbnails, like I make them myself. Just because there's Canva and it has like pretty good templates and stuff. So that's an example of a tool just removing the need for another human,
But there's all sorts, like, I remember once, actually, I've still probably got the DM on my Fiverr account where I tried to DM someone to make like a cartoon version of me or something like that for some sort of project I was doing. And then now you've got like the AI generated sort of images that they cropped out recently, because a lot of these AI things had barriers to putting human faces, and now a lot of them have been trained to. And like there was some recently that like just blew me away. I'm making a selection of some. I don't have them available at the moment. Have you seen them? The ones that I put on Instagram? There's a lot more on my phone.
The ones by Lenza, is it?
Yeah, I had like 50 on my phone, but I only uploaded like 5 or so on Instagram. I can't even log into Instagram on here, so I'm not even going to bother. But they were very accurate.
I forgot about that. The fact that like DALL-E wasn't very good at faces, but that one that you shared, that was very good at faces.
Yeah, a lot of them were, subhanallah. Where are we? Oh, I've logged in. Shall I bring it up again? Just to see how scary these are?
Just to show off your face, bro.
No, well, you've seen it. You've seen most of it for a long time here. Where are we? It's been a long episode. Oh, God, it's very slow. I should ask ChatGPT, whatever, to speed up my computer. That'd be great. Share this tab instead. Here we go.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
Look at that. Look at the earring, bro. What's that about? I don't know.
This is Achi Tweet the Pirate.
So, yeah, I don't know what's up with like some of the clothes, bro.
Yeah, gold. Okay. It knows you got that wacky fashion sense, innit?
Thank you. Appreciate that. some
astronaut. The yellow hoodie was like an interpretation of the yellow hoodie.
Yes, I think one of the photos I must have sent over was I was wearing a yellow hoodie.
Okay, right.
So it's kind of, and then some of them might have had a checkered shirt. This stuff though, I don't know where it's got this.
Did you not ask for that?
No. It's all. So this one was like it just made its own mind up. It literally just said,
"Wow,
give me some photos. I'll do the rest. No description, no prompts, no nothing." And there's loads more. Literally gave me 50, but these are probably some of the best ones.
Did you see this comment? The last guy is who Joe Rogan sees when he's on DMT. That's the alien-looking one.
Right. I'm going to started on that, right? I went down that rabbit hole of some Joe Rogan episodes and DMT. I was looking at some Graham Hancock stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. You know, I appreciate some of their ideas, but most of it is just drugged up nonsense. But yeah, that's that. That's that.
You know, I've been reflecting on, because I came to the UK this time with my family and stuff. So, came to my parents' place. And there was a lot of us in the house. House is pretty small. And it just made me realize, you know, like this whole privilege thing, like we're cramped in this house. And I realized how being cramped in a house, it gets in your way kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I can imagine, because I mean, I kind of thought of it on the surface before, but now I'm kind of experiencing it for just a little period. Like imagine like there's 6 of you in like a 2-bedroom flat, and it's like, not even 6, you know, 7, 8 people, 6 kids and parents growing up in the flat. And you're not doing that for a week or 2. You're doing that for years, you know, your whole childhood. And it kind of makes you like step on each other's toes. There's not much space. And then it's like, it makes you want to go outside, right? And then you go outside and there's nothing much to do. And then you get up to no good. And, you know, I could just like, I appreciate it more, Yanni. Even for my kids being here, like, bro, like, even though I live in an apartment in Turkey, but I guess it's a big apartment, and even just within the apartment, because they're young as well, they have quite a good amount of place to run, kick, whatever, right? But here is like cramped, and I just felt them. I just felt they didn't show it, but I was like, yeah, this would be frustrating, Ali, being in a small area, and then it's like, okay, I got to take them out, but it's freezing and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I just appreciating those things.
There's also the, you know, the environment around you outside is not safest. It's not like they can just go out. Like it depends. I don't know where you live, but
yeah, it's like even just the weather alone makes you kind of like question, like, is it worth going outside, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that it's interesting, the privileges that we do have. And I think, do you ever, question to you is like, does Shaitan ever mess with you in terms of like asking for more, asking for things, making dua for more when you realize how privileged you already are? Like that's a battle I face daily, where I could really, like I said earlier how privileged I was. I recognize how privileged I am. Like I look like I'm living underwater, bro. Look at this. But then I start thinking, oh, how do I ask for more when other people are going through so much? Like, but you got to fight that feeling, no doubt. You got to fight it because Allah's bounty is infinite. But
I don't know. I
don't think like that.
I don't ask for more, dunya wise. I don't know. Like,
really,
I'm not very
anything
focused
is more
on
though.
that.
Asking Allah for anything is more, bro.
Yeah. So like, I want, for example, to be for Allah to bestow upon me gratitude. Yeah, the ability to be grateful, right? So I want that. I want Allah to accept my deeds. I want Allah to make me sincere. I want Allah to make me to use me for good.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff. Like materially, I don't know. I'm kind of comfortable, I guess.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm kind of comfortable. Like, obviously, like, this is a funny thing. If people knew how much money I make, I don't think they'd be blown away. I do probably have more disposable income than many. Just I live in a kind of cheaper country and stuff. But there are very few, but there are material things I want. But I'm not like aching over them. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I guess I know this is the thing, yeah, because I've been like spending a lot of my adult life learning about business and marketing and stuff. I know for a fact there are people on my level of knowledge and experience and skills making 10 times the money I'm making. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. So sometimes I don't really do it that much, but sometimes I'm like, well, because I can make that much, like, I sometimes question, like, I should maybe try and make that much. But I think the conclusion I come to is the business arenas that I enter, they're not the type that allow you to make that much money a lot of the time. So yeah, because I'm like, I like, for example, want to sell to Muslims and work with Muslims. And it's not just any Muslims, it's Muslims specifically, like English speakers. Yeah. That's a bit of a limited market kind of thing. Whereas I've seen my friends who like, they just go straight like B2B, working with like, bro, my friend, yeah, like he's a kid to me because I met him when he was like 18 or something. And I was like 7 years old and I can't remember. Bro, he's got clients. He doesn't know about the field he's in. Like he's not super experienced in it. He's experienced in selling and business. Yeah. But his clients are like PwC and like governments and stuff. Yeah. I don't know how he does it. Yeah. Mashallah. But, so because he's in that arena where it's like B2B working with like these multinational consulting firms, like automatically he can go for those bigger bucks. But I'm not like, I can do good, but yeah, I'm happy where I am because I'd rather not like get into those fields. I don't know, it's not that comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So I've chosen my place and I'm making the most out of it, and it's a good, alhamdulillah. But yeah, I don't feel guilty about asking for more. I just like feel guilty about just sucking at things.
Yeah. Fair play. Yeah. No, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah, I feel like you in terms of that. For myself, I always want more for my family. Right? I always want more for my family, my extended family, those I'm responsible for. And I think that's where a lot of the drive comes from. Because if I was a bachelor on my own and everything was paid for, bills were done, and I had a house and whatever, I had somewhere to live, a roof over my head, I wouldn't really ask for much. I wouldn't really ask for much at all. But you can imagine, like I said, 3 kids changes you.
Bro, you're nearly at that level where a 5-seater won't fit you.
It doesn't. Well, it really is. It really is difficult. My wife has been relegated to the back seat just to fit, because you can't fit 3 car seats all together.
Oh, you can't. Yeah.
Not really. So,
well, you need someone in the back anyway with them, innit?
Well, so, yeah.
Does Suleiman sit in the front? Can he sit in the front?
Yeah. It depends how I'm feeling.
Bro, man of the house, bro.
But this is it, man. Thing is, like, look, I'm embarking on a few journeys now. I've got the 3rd child on the way. On the way here, and he's growing up. I've got homeschooling, and these are things that need to be maintained, but nourished and nurtured, and they need to be done financially, right? It's only through financial ability that we can continue to homeschool. It's only through financial ability that you can, escape certain ills of society. Lots of things like that, and also provide for. Obviously I lost my father, so I'm worried about my mum, I'm worried about my gran, I'm worried about my auntie, I'm worried about all these things all over the place, all these responsibilities that really and truly they're my responsibilities to deal with. So yeah, I ask Allah for more in that regards, to facilitate my ability to fulfill my obligations in all of those obligations. But then I'm also thinking, like, there's some people that I just don't have anything. I came across did you watch Joe Rogan's episode with his recent one? I forgot the name of the person, but he was the author of that Cobalt Red book about the cobalt miners in the Congo.
Okay.
So essentially, long story short, he was talking about in the Congo, the increased drive to now mine for cobalt has essentially just ravaged the people there. Everybody's a miner, child labor, child slavery, even horrendous working conditions. Everybody's just mining for cobalt that is in phones, now predominantly rising more in electric vehicles, and as that grows, the need for it grows, yada yada yada, you can imagine. And then it kind of made me feel guilty, because I was thinking, I tweeted something like this, where it's like, everything you have, there's like the dust of oppression on it. Everything that you purchase, there's somewhere along the line, there is something that went wrong there. Because if you look at raw materials, especially for electronics, where that's come from, whether it's interest or whether it's oppression, everything more or less. Like, it's hard to think of anything that's completely pure, completely like spotless on its supply chain, completely spotless in its manufacturing. And it drives you crazy. And you can think, subhanAllah, like, when it comes to the oppression side of things, you know, you could really eat yourself up, and Allah knows best what the fatwa is on that. I'd love to ask someone like Mufti that. Like, if I know that this phone, for example, there's some raw materials that are in this phone that have undoubtedly been sourced through, you know, the oppression of people, the oppression of poor people across the world, to get the cobalt in here, to get the metals, to get the gold, to get whatever is in here, right? Am I held accountable for that? Am I questioned for that? You know, do I need that? Or I mean, is there a way around it?
We definitely do question about it. The question is, will we be able to justify it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you pause and you think, oh, am I asking for too much? Because there's people that their whole life, loads of people, probably the majority of people, their whole life, they'll go from start to finish and they won't have a single one of the blessings that you've got. And that's in the material blessings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people that were born, you know, in a shack or less than a shack, and will die in that very same shack. That's their entire life, start to finish.
But
here I am with fancy
I just see myself as being, in a way, it's like the only way that I'm actually privileged is if I live a life this comfortable and then I also go Jannah. But I don't know if I'm going Jannah, bro.
No, 100%. Yeah, and that's a
and
scary
that's why
thing,
when I think of these people, like in the Congo, the miners, it's like, are they Muslim? Because if they're Muslim and then they're suffering, bro, that's kafarat al-dhunub every day of their life. And it's like, I'm not worried about them in that sense. If they're not Muslim, I mean, Allah's just, and Allah will deal with them in a just way. But what I'm trying to say is, I think we are in trouble more than them.
You know what, though, bro? Well, what I will say is, like, I'm not to drop a fatwa about that, but whether they're Muslim or not, sometimes you can't be certain, because you can't be certain how Allah will judge them, because some of them will never even have the opportunity to even learn about Islam. Yeah. There's no tech, no outside influence, nothing coming in there. It's just work.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, I did bookmark some clips from it on Twitter. Yeah, it's just some people. I don't know, bro. It's been on my mind a lot, because it's an internal struggle of, oh, how could I ask for more? How could I ask for anything? I've just seen this and this and this and this and this. How could I ever complain and ask for anything? At the same time, you have to fight that with, but Allah loves when you ask from Him. Never stop asking from Allah.
But asking is not complaining.
Asking is not complaining, but you have to also, like, there's also, that's it. That is the thing. Asking isn't complaining. But in another way, you could also view and ask as a relief from a particular complaint that you've got, you know? Like you said earlier about, let's say, the cramped nature of your household. You said if it's 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, you're living like that. How long do you bear with the ills before saying, Ya Allah, can I please have, please facilitate for me a bigger place to stay? Is that me complaining about the place I've got? It's hard, isn't it?
I don't know. I think it's the nature. I don't feel guilty about it, because it's the nature of humans to just want better and more comfort. And even as comfortable as we are, for example, we want more comfort. Like, I think that's fine. I think there's danger in too much comfort, right? I think it's like, could be bad for us. But the main thing is, it's like, Allah already gave us a lot of comfort, right? We shouldn't be guilty about stuff that Allah gave us. But it's like, this is the dangerous bit. You got to, like, be grateful, and you got to use it for good. That's where I'm scared, bro. That's the bit where I'm in trouble. Because the gratitude is not the level it needs to be. And then the use of the excess, whatever, wealth, free time, health, that's not on the level. That's what I worry about, to be honest. I don't tell Allah, like, no, I don't want the comfort. No, give me the comfort. But then now it's like, okay, damn, I need to use this. Yeah, 100%. It's like when I went to Hajj, I was almost in disbelief of, like, out of, like, a billion Muslims, whatever, out of the few, the million or two that go Hajj, I was one of them that year. And I was, like, in disbelief of how generous Allah is being to me. And yet it crossed my mind, like, why did Allah favor me to allow me to go? But very quickly, I was like, well, damn, I better make use of it. That's where my mind went.
Yeah. Because those are blessings that can be squandered, no doubt. I suppose that's a productive way of looking at it, because it's not whether you get the thing or not. It's actually what you do with it in the long run, how grateful you are, because it's your gratitude that does get tested. Because at the end of the day, whatever Allah gives you of the dunya is worth nothing in the sight of Allah, regardless.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot in our eyes, but in the grand scheme of things.
And maybe it's just me, bro. Maybe it's like my family wasn't very well off until we moved to UAE. When we moved to UAE, like, that was the golden age of UAE, and like everyone was comfortable over there. But what I found is, with many people, they say the same. When I was like under moments of stress, pressure, hardship, that was when I was closest to Allah. So like I value that stuff a lot more than like comfort I just feel is bad, but we naturally incline towards it. But when you're like, so we often spend our lives chasing more comfort for ourselves or our families, right? We spend our lives chasing the comfort, and you need to also, once you're semi-comfortable, you need to make the active decision to challenge yourself, to push yourself further, sometimes into discomfort, in order to make use of those blessings and the comfort that Allah gave you. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a brother, Ahmed. He listens to the podcast for many years. He said he benefited a lot from it. And he was kind of saying this kind of thing, like, I feel like I'm not reaching my potential. I'm not doing enough. And then I asked him a bit about himself. And I was like, well, you need to actively put yourself in a position where you will be put under stress to be pushed to then reach your potential, right? Because by default, you're going to always seek comfort unless you're very used to challenging yourself by your own. If you're not, then you need to make a decision like getting a coach or signing up for this XYZ thing where people are going to push you. And most people, they thrive when they're put in that position, but to actually put themselves in the position, they don't think about it, or they don't, etc.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes even thrusting that on you is what will change you, Like, look at we spoke about it before, obviously, but the whole Tunisia thing, that taken over my dad, all these things, they were things I'd run away from when I was a young kid.
Uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then like being forced into it.
Yeah, and you mentioned how much you grew from that.
Oh, 100%. I'm a completely different person than I was before. But also having like having 3 kids, having that responsibility, mouths to feed, whatever it is, you can only wallow in your sorrows for a short period of time before... I remember having that thought yesterday. I was like, do you know what? I just need I've had enough. That's it. I just need to go. I went to my bed and I remember putting the pillow on, and my wife called me, can you just hold him for 2 seconds because I need to do, and then that was it. Because of that need that I was required to do something, I had to just ignore whatever that part of me was that said, just run away from this.
Oh, yeah.
And carry on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Because it forces you into it. These are your responsibilities, and alhamdulillah, it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing, and you have to balance that with also the things that are difficult for you are also blessings in and of themselves. We spoke about how a family changes after 3 children. They're all, not only are they alhamdulillah, not only are they healthy, strong children, they're boys as well. I know that some cultures just go crazy for boys. You know what I mean? Like my grandmothers, both of them, just crazy for boys. I love it. Just absolutely, it's crazy. It's like some old school thing, but they think I've hit the jackpot or something. SubhanAllah. So I know, and just having children in general is something that doesn't come easily for people.
Yeah.
That really want them. So there's loads of those things. We can go on forever. We can go on all night long about the blessings.
Bro, there's a comment on the Mahar video I put out, and it's like, SubhanAllah, this shows this is a deep point, yeah? The brother was like, I don't know what it is, but I'm kind of find myself doubting Allah's command, yani, to give mahar when you're getting married. He's like, I just don't get it. Like, why do I have to pay to get married? Like, what am I even getting out of marriage? And then there were some back and forth comments and stuff. I was like, yo, that's the place we've reached, yani. I don't know. It's like the way he was looking at it was very transactional. But then when I sat back and I was like, I was like, well, okay, forget the fact that you're giving mahr and all that, but marriage in and of itself is going to get you so many ajr. It's going to force ajr upon you. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to spend years providing for your wife and your kids, and you're just getting ajr out of that. Like, you just have to, right? So that's what you get out of it, for example. That's one thing you get out of it. But, you know, people are very focused on the material. Yani, as humans, yani, we all do that. But really, it's like, yeah, like you're saying, you get forced into good things, yani, in a way. Like, they're forced upon you, but it's like good for you.
I mean, you know, look, men need to get marriage is such a narrow thing for both parties. I think that they forget the periphery and the benefits that come around the other sides of, like, you know, keeping yourself away from sin, having somebody with you all the time. You know, being on your own is the source of many sins.
Yeah,
most
for
sins.
sure. Yeah.
What sins do you commit with people? You know,
Well,
I mean, yeah, you do.
people,
With bad people, yeah. But if you're on your own, you're a good practicing person, you're trying to be practicing, then all the sins you're going to commit are going to be on your own, right? Yeah. That gets eliminated when you've got somebody with you all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody,
and part of you is like, damn, I can't just get 5 minutes on my own. But then part of you is like, well, say alhamdulillah that you can't get 5 minutes for yourself.
You're paying for that privilege. You know, and lots of things. That's obviously one of the you know, periphery things about marriage, but yeah, I don't know. I think alhamdulillah, bro, that we got married when we did, because I do see the difficulty now with all this, all these agendas and all these waves coming out that can poison the minds.
Yeah,
poison the minds. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bro.
Let's end it there, bro.
Barakallahu feek. Good to be back.
Yes. Let's do it.
I've got nothing cool to show. Usually I show something cool before.
Bro, you're pretty much in the ocean just swimming this whole episode. You got some coral reef behind you, it's turning pink, orange.
We celebrate an Avatar, baby. We've got the Avatar.
Bro, I want to see this Avatar film. You know why? Just for the fact that James Cameron, right, the director, I saw this thing. He's been working on it for like 12 years.
Yeah,
they spent like $1 billion on it. I don't know what they spent on it. I'm just like, look, really, yeah? Anything like that, you got to rate the work ethic, the attention to detail, I don't know what he was doing for these 12 years, yeah, but he must be mad.
Apparently he'd like developed a new submarine and then went to like the deepest part of the earth, the Mariana Trench or something.
Really?
Like just for this film.
And he's just like trying to make life hard for himself, but I'll be entertained by it. I almost don't want to see the film. I want to see how he made the film. I want a whole movie on how he made it.
Yeah, give me that documentary. That's more interesting.
Behind the scenes, yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I don't care too much about Avatar or all of that.
People paying $2 billion to make a movie. How many people paying $2 billion to spread the message of Islam? Damn.
I ain't got $2 billion, baby.
Well, yeah.
That's you, though. That's why you need to take that job offer, bro. The one that you said I can get paid more. That's it. You need to work your way up to the $2 billion. Then I'll ask you, what are you doing with that money? I mean,
yeah.
Whatever your life is right now, yeah, write it down, put it in an Excel sheet so I can see that's your standard of living.
Yeah.
And then from that point onwards, anything extra you make up until the $2 billion, all fi sabilillah, bro. All right?
Inshallah.
That's it. If I see you wearing no Gucci, no Prada, no. Void. Can't wear any of that. Whatever you're wearing now, that's what you're sticking to.
Bro, if I did that, what you just said, I'd become rich very quickly, I think. You just need the courage to do it, innit?
Do it, bro. Man, like age you.
I mean, okay, subhanakallahumma hamdik shadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Let me get counting.
I got a crab sticker. That's it. That's a cool. It's not a sticker, it's a plaster.
Plaster.
I cut my finger earlier. There you go. That's the cool thing I can show off today. Barakallahu feek.